Hey friends, welcome back to the Rising Tide podcast. Gosh, we're so glad you're here.
It's good
Glad to be
here.
back. It's been a few weeks since we've been in the chair.
Yeah, and lots
recording,
happened
but we've
since
been
then.
together.
Yeah,
though.
lots happened since then.
Yeah.
It's been
How are you
fun.
doing, Matt?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
There's part of it I think I'm still living on the high of what God's done over the last few weeks. I know last time we were together, we were kind of talking about what was to come.
Yeah.
Not just in the podcast, but like in our experiences together and our hopes for like what the podcast can kind of feed into as well with the resets. And we had the marriage reset coming up and the California men's reset. And so I just got back from California just a couple days ago. And then before that, we were down in Florida together doing the marriage reset. And yeah, so it's been a fun couple of weeks. It's been incredible, actually. Fun's probably way too surface of a word, but it was certainly fun.
Hey, you got to have fun though. So
Well, I think we should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that there's an aspect of serving Christ that is sacrificial.
Yeah.
And it can't be always about like, oh, like this needs to be fun. But I think we take it too far if we don't have fun with God and with people around us.
Yeah. There's not joy in it, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's probably the better word
Yeah.
is joy. And I know we kind of talked about that with purpose and peace combined, and there's joy in it. And it was like super joyful. And honestly, just fun it was joyful to be in it with you guys, with Ashton and you. And man, like other friends from here in Conway, but then across the nation that came together. It was awesome.
It was
cool.
the best group of people.
It was
amazing.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. There's a couple of couples there from Pennsylvania, and then several from here, from Texas. There were just people that were kind of spread out.
Yeah.
And man, not crazy, beautiful. How quickly.
Yeah.
Man, we came together. Like it was like awesome. It was miraculous.
It was very quick. It's almost, I mean, it's really like the family of Christ, right? I mean, living in the kingdom, because it's like, wow, I feel like I've known this person forever, and when you get these group of people together, so.
And it was our first try at a marriage reset, and I joked that, I mean, it's serious. It's not really a joke. I joked, like I'm Kiki and I are putting on a marriage conference or retreat or whatever, and we've never really been to one, but except for one, and we went to one marriage retreat when we were a young married couple, and we left early because we were fighting.
Yeah,
and so our experience with it is like minimal, but our hope for it was incredibly high.
Yeah,
and at least from my perspective, like God exceeded our hopes. Like he just did, and our hopes were super high.
Yeah.
So, how about for you guys? What was the experience for you?
Oh man, we were the same way. I mean, we've never been to a marriage conference, marriage retreat, whatever before, and we went into it just with a ton of excitement, really high hopes, like we talked about, and God he blew those out of the water. It was absolutely incredible, and like you said, the people there. The just the whole the format of the way you led us through it was absolutely incredible, and then also the time that we got to just connect, as a couple was really special. Yeah.
And it didn't hurt that it was in Miramar Beach, Florida. That didn't.
One of our favorite places in the whole world.
That was awesome.
And the weather was good.
You and Ashton like kind of knew. I mean, you were locals down there.
Yeah.
I think from having an Airbnb down there for years, and so. Austin and Ashton, they were like texting, 80-year-old guys and saying, "Hey, is the pickleball court open? Can we get over there?"
Our pickleball connections.
Yeah, they were working their connections. It was pretty awesome, telling us all the best restaurants, and so, no, it really was amazing. Like so much more than surface level amazing. It was like God did deep stuff, and it was really incredible. And I'll say this for the sake of the why behind it is. The Rising Tide podcast is about, the hope is about cultural transformation.
Yeah.
And can we win back our culture that we are collectively losing? And if we can, and I believe that we can, I don't think it's hopeless, then how? And I absolutely believe that needs to start with men. But I think the very next thing it needs to start with is marriage.
Yeah.
And
100%.
to make the investment into the foundational block of intimacy to the foundational block of reproduction, the foundational block of culture building.
Yeah.
Man, it's like there's I don't know if there is a better investment that we can make
No.
for the sake of a future hope, or even for the sake of a present experience. You know, like our marriages and what we experience them.
Yeah.
It is the center point of our lives,
It
matters.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah. So, coming out of it, what would you guys say to anybody that's like considering? Because our hope is like, let's do more of these. We were kind of just talking about that, like where, like I was just again out in California with a group of guys that were like, man, like can we do a marriage one out here? And some of the guys from Pennsylvania were like,
sign me up.
Can we do one at the Jersey Shore? And then you were just mentioning doing one in Colorado. And so, what would you say to somebody that's considering, and like, do I need this from a marriage? Would this help? Or what would I come out of it with?
Well, I mean, it's like, do we need more Jesus? Yes. And I think you hit the nail right on the head with all this starts with our relationship with Christ and our relationship with our spouse, right? And then everything pushes out of that. And we've talked about the four quadrants,
Yes.
So there. And then the other piece would be like anything that you've had from other marriage retreats, the feedback. And again, these are the two guys that haven't been, like I just admitted, I haven't been on any. You left early, So we don't have this great deep well. But the feedback I think that you got and that I heard as well was this is unlike any marriage retreat we've ever been on. And so I think just wiping that away, if you've had a good experience, a bad experience, and just saying, okay, this is going to look a little bit different. But if you want to be in a beautiful place with your spouse as a chance to reconnect and do it in community with each other, through a lot of really good discussion. It was, you do a phenomenal job, Matt, teaching, and you have a great way of really bringing to light some principles and then turning them into practice. But you very quickly opened passed the baton off to the group and said, okay, guys, now what do y'all think about this? How do we live this out? And it really became this group. We had folks that were older than you and I there. And then we had several couples that have been married, a year or two. Yeah. And everyone just really worked well together and talking through things. And it wasn't the older people talking down to the younger people and any of that. Yeah. It was like, it was truly community in a really beautiful sense. And so it was a beautiful thing.
It really was. One of the, to me, one of the special moments that I'll forever remember is Zach and Lindsay getting baptized.
Yes.
And shout out to them, but also to the Paulums from Texas. That, such incredible young couples that are like hungry to love one another more, but to love Christ together. Yeah. And it was, and Zach and Lindsay, while they were there, were like, man, we've wanted to get baptized, but this is our time, and they did it together.
Yeah.
And they did it in the ocean. It was like it was wonderful. It was like so awesome. So. And I think coming out of it with new identity, and new identity together, and I think as a couple, and I think that would match up with my hopes of, man, what if every couple could just get away for a few days? Mm-hmm. That's not just about a vacation, but it's about a new life, and regenerating life in themselves with Christ, but together, and then in their families. Yeah. And there was probably, as much as we dealt with marriages, we also talked about the marriage being the center point of the family. And if we want a culture to take place in our homes, then it broadcasts in abundance out of our family. So, it was really awesome. Looking forward to more of those.
Same.
Yeah. So, I know we dialogued about this a little bit, and we've been on this journey of kind of purpose and peace and vocation and hearing God's voice and all that stuff. And and one of the things we talked about at the marriage reset was really going back to Eden. And whatever God made in the garden, he made it perfect. Mm-hmm. And I definitely, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, I very much hold a garden to garden theology. That is, whatever God made in the garden, that was his plan, and it was a perfect plan. And it's not that like God still doesn't have a perfect plan, even though, so to speak, we've messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever that plan is, I think it would be to get back to the garden.
Yeah.
And not necessarily get back there locationally, but to get back there theologically.
Yeah.
So to examine what's happened or what was happening in the garden, I think it gives us like an idea to emulate or an icon that we can model after. And so, so the thought was like, what if we kind of went on this journey that is starting with the Garden of Eden, and what is it that God said, not just spoke? What did he say there through what he spoke and what he created out of that?
Yeah.
What was God saying about humanity? What was God saying first about himself? And if that was perfect, then can we get back to perfection?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we're going to try and do over this next few weeks.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah. So what do you think? Where should we start?
I really like the way that you frame that up, because even as you're talking, and I've heard this before, my immediate conclusion was to jump over to the end.
Okay.
You know,
yes.
and maybe it's because I was just in Revelation the other day, and it's like you read through Revelation, and I don't know, I'm not a sci-fi person, and so you know I'm struggling through most, but then you get to the last two chapters, and you're like, oh, thank God, this is where is where it's going, you know. But the first time, I don't know if you remember the first time you and I talked about Eden, and you explained to me, okay, let's talk about what Eden means, and you talked about the 5 strokes and that sort of thing. It came out of this question. It was in response to this. Hey, Matt, you've got 5 boys. You've done this. I've got 4. We're in the middle of baseball season, and we're eating on the run. We're busy. Work is busy, and all this. What do I do? And you didn't answer that question. You said, let me tell you about the garden.
Well, I didn't answer it the way you wanted me to
well,
answer.
Yeah, you didn't give me a how-to. You instead taught me something, which was really cool. And so, I don't know. I think that's where my mind goes of like, it's not this like, hey, let's talk about history and let's talk about future. It's like, no, we can take these things and talk about how to live in the kingdom now.
That's awesome.
With the Father.
Yeah, and where are we at right now? Yeah. And where are we in expectation of God's kingdom coming?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, let me just say in context, just for the sake of the big story, okay? Because and you know that this really matters to me. Like I think that meta narrative, in other words, the big picture of God, of his big story, that his big story is ultimately about himself. It's not first about mankind.
Yeah.
And so the big narrative through the Word of God, it actually is it's the quintessential fairy tale if you think about it. You know, it's
a
like
love story.
Yeah, and it's like once upon a time in a land far, far away, there was a great king.
Yeah.
That king had a son who was betrothed to a bride. That bride was taken captive by a great dragon and put to sleep and captured. And the king said to his son, "Go rescue your bride from the clutches of the dragon and slay the dragon." And so then the son goes and he rides on a white horse, a white stallion, and reclaims his bride, slays the dragon, takes her to live forever in happiness in the Father's kingdom, right? And to rule and reign together.
Yeah.
And that's like that is the Bible story.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, that really is. It's like in the garden, Eve is taken away by a dragon.
Yeah.
And I know we call it a serpent or a snake, but it's a snake or a serpent that's walking around. And even really Michael Heiser does some incredible, and like he's probably the foremost Hebrew scholar of our day, but he talks about the word that's used there that is actually less about an animal talking, more about a divine intervention by a dragon and takes Eve captive. And so And I think there's the implication there that where was Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Why was he not with his bride to slay the dragon?
Yeah.
And why did he let her be lied to?
Yeah.
But that is the big picture, and that we're living in the middle of history.
Yeah.
We're living in the middle of his story.
Yeah.
And it's all this thing that we call a fairy tale, but it's real life. And so if we understand where we fit in all of that and who God is, I do think it equips us to deal with everyday life.
Yeah.
That is, well, why does a fairy tale matter for kids involved in baseball? Well, because the fairy tale is actually his story.
Yeah.
And so everything we do is actually making his story through our lives. And we can either make our story or we make his story.
Yeah.
But we live as a part of history.
Yeah.
So that's big picture. So let's go back to the garden then.
Okay.
So I think what we talked about first with that was that Eden is generally translated as the place of delight.
Okay.
That's how the word that's in Hebrew is translated, as the place of delight. And I'm definitely not a Hebrew scholar, so if anybody's listening to this that is, and if I'm wrong about this stuff, please forgive me, but I think this is right. So Hebrew is made up of strokes rather than letters. I think they call them strokes.
Okay.
And every stroke not only adds a sound, but it adds a nuance to the word. And so the best way for us to think about that in English is the adding on of an S at the end of a word. It changes the sound, but it also changes the meaning. It doesn't change it completely. It just nuances it into plural, right? And so what if every letter, though, in English added meaning, not just sound? You'd be a lot closer to like the way that Hebrew functions.
Okay.
And so Eden has 5 strokes to it. Each one adds meaning or nuances the meaning of the word. And so if you walk through the 5 strokes of Eden, you actually see a picture of God's plan for humanity and where he wanted us to live every day. And it's a fascinating study, but the hope is to not just leave this theological or academic. The hope is to get this practical. So if we can, let's make sure we press towards practice. Okay. But it is helpful, at least for me, to understand like this is what God made for us. So do you remember the first stroke?
Is it moment? Or okay.
So I think it's whatever order it goes in. The first 2 are spot and moment.
Okay.
Yeah. And so as God builds out his creation, and we'll probably talk more about this part of this in the next podcast, but as God builds out creation, what he is generally doing is he's taking whoever he is eternally and or infinitely, and he's giving access to it in a finite way. And so all of creation becomes a finite expression of God's infinite nature. So when God makes time, God relates to time in a way that we call eternal, which is not just timelessness or never-ending time.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is it's not just eternal doesn't just mean you start from 0 and there's no end to it. It goes on to infinity, nor is it goes to infinity both ways. There was never a beginning and never an end. That doesn't mean eternal in the way the Bible talks about it. Eternal removes it from a line and treats time in 3 dimension.
Oh, okay.
And so when God relates to eternity, he relates to it in 3 dimensions. So in other words, like he's outside of time, or you could say that time is maybe inside of him. And certainly there will be some debates about that.
Yeah.
But that's what I believe. So that's what we're going to talk about on this podcast. Okay. But what he does is he says, I'm going to make something in my image or an icon of myself. And so all of creation functions in a way that's bringing, through God's spoken word, it's bringing darkness into light. It's bringing chaos into order. And he does that through spoken word, and it brings infinite into finite for the sake of our experience. So that we can relate to God in who he is, but not being God.
Yeah.
Okay? So with time, if God is eternal, God says, I will give you a doorway or a place to relate to me that is called a moment.
Okay.
And he says, that's the only place that you can relate to me. In other words, we can't move anywhere we want to on the timeline.
Right.
We are stuck in 2-dimensional time, which is actually not even true. We're probably stuck in a half dimension of time. Okay. So not only are we on a line that is time, but we are on a line that we can't go backwards.
Yeah, you can only go one way.
And we can only go one way, but even we can't even go one way at any speed we want. We can't speed up or slow down. Okay, so we kind of interact with God, with time in a half dimension.
Yeah.
And that half dimension is a moment. And so you remember when we talked about the God set aside a day and called it today?
Yep.
I can't remember how many podcasts that was ago, but it was several ago. That's really what that is saying there is God won't relate to you in a day that's called yesterday.
Yeah.
He won't meet you there. And he won't meet you in a day that's called tomorrow. He's only given you one place where you can access his eternal nature. And it's through the finite nature of time that's called a moment. So practically, what does that mean?
I mean, like, we're here right now. I mean, it's not the past, it's not the future, it's right now, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, when we interact with anxiety, where are we interacting?
The past,
or
the future.
Yeah, the past or the future. Yeah. And God's like, no wonder you feel alone in that.
Yeah.
Because I gave you a time in Eden that was now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, whatever you do right now is what matters.
Yeah.
And so if you dwell in the past of unforgiveness, blame, shame, then you lose access to me. And so I kind of think about all these things like, some people will be like, this is so dumb. But it just helps me. Like, you know, the superhero movies where there's a portal, or the sci-fi movies where there's like a portal, right? It's like a portal that opens into a new dimension, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't make it there in time, is it Thor or whatever that there's a portal that Loki goes? I don't know. I'm not enough with that stuff.
I'm not into it enough. Yeah.
But that idea that's like, oh, there's something that opens up a portal into a new dimension. Okay, so there is a gateway that Christ opened back up to get back into Eden. And we can live there. Since Christ came, we can live every day in Eden on this earth, even if we never find it geographically.
Yeah.
We can live in it experientially. It's just we've got to get to the right time, at the right place, with the right person. Okay? And if we get to the right time and the right place, so that's where it's like, you know, otherwise the portal's going to close if we miss the time, or if we're not at the right place with the right people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and this is really what the word is saying, that the only time that the portal to Eden is open is called now. And if you ever try to live your life not in now, the portal closes and Eden's not available to you.
Yeah.
And so you're locked out of Eden, even though Jesus reopened it for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did I explain that okay?
Yeah,
does that make
absolutely.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's the moment part of it. And so God takes his infinite nature in regards to time, which we call eternal, and he makes it finite and he calls it moment. And he says, this is where you will relate to me. And in that, he's declaring something about himself that is ultimately just an icon or an image. And then he takes and he relates then to his infinite nature in regards to space. And so when we talk about God in regards to space, we call that omnipresence. Right? That God can be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
But he didn't make us like that.
Yeah. He
made us to be in one place at one time, and that's a spot.
Yeah.
Okay? So spot is finite space.
Yep.
And that's not a limitation on God, but it is a limitation that's put on us.
Yeah.
And he says, the only space that I will let you access my eternal nature is through the space that you're in right now. Okay? Now, that, again, that has to get beyond theology and theoretics. It has to get to practice. Okay? So, and you can probably think of it example from your life too, but I'll start with one that was, it was a couple of years ago, and I just started up another local discipleship group with a group of men, and and in a sense, that's kind of hard to pull together. You got a bunch of different schedules, and you communicate a vision to a lot of different people. And it's like we had just started, okay? And we had the first week, it was great. But then, like, I was gone the next week to Boston, and I was supposed to be the next week in Tennessee. And so, and I very much felt like I was doing what God was asking me to do in Boston. So it felt very purposed. I wasn't like, I think I'm in the wrong place. I felt like that was where I was supposed to be. But I'm having this thought that's like, man, I need to be at home too.
Yeah.
And if I'm not at home, then, man, this D group's not going to go well. And I really need to be in two places at once.
Yeah.
And the Lord just convicted me of it. And because that sounds really noble, especially if you've got like two good things going on, right? It sounds really noble to say that. But God was just like, Matt, that desire is sin.
Yeah. Huh.
And what I would have called it, Austin, is I would have called it good.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is a good thing, and I just need to figure out how to do a good thing better.
Yeah.
And I felt like God said that's sin, and it's actually closer to the original sin than even if you would, like, cheat on your wife.
Oh, wow.
Which sounds awful, right? But if we go back to the original sin was Adam and Eve being allured by the serpent or the dragon saying, if you do this, you can be like God. And it's not that they weren't already like God. He was saying you can be like God in a way that God didn't make you like him.
Yeah, didn't design you to be.
Yeah. And he didn't design me to be in two places at once.
Yeah.
And so my desire to be in two places, or even the thought that I need to be, that this thing is dependent on me to be there, and it's dependent on me to be there or here, it was like God was like, that's sin. And I'm telling you, there was something refreshing to me to just call it sin.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would have spent a bunch of time and energy trying to figure out how to do good better.
Yeah.
And God was like, I don't want you to do that. Like, it's actually prideful. And again, pride is what are the roots, and we'll talk more about this in a couple podcasts, I think. Pride is the roots of the tree of death, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That I'm going to call something good that God didn't call good. Yeah. And that's what I was doing in my life. I was calling the desire or the need to be in two places at once good because I was so prideful. Yeah. I thought, oh, I'm kind of a big deal. And so these things are dependent on me. And God was like, no, they're not. Yeah. Like, I've invited you into the portal, into a new realm. And that happens in one spot. Yeah. And it's just, you have to be fully present where you are. Yeah. And so I think if we think about it, and maybe if you can share an example from your life where the desire to be present somewhere else, or the like drifting of distraction has stolen spot away from you. Yeah.
I think the times when I get into my vehicle and I'm going from one, meeting to the next or whatever, and the natural, inclination for me is to jump in, open up my phone and say, okay, what do I have on my to-do list? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to, what do I need to be doing? And how do I, I've got 10 minutes to go from here to there. How do I cram 10 things into that?
Yes.
And I think what God has been showing me in that is like, hey, that you feel like you're being productive and you feel like you're being extremely efficient and you're going to knock out a few more things. Yeah. But the higher value is pause and like be present with me in this moment, because in your busyness, you're missing this opportunity to be with me. Yes. And so that's probably the area for me where it's like, just take that step back. And there's a really good, we get even to practice on this. There's a really good app out there called the Pause app. Okay. That John Eldridge, the author of Wild at Heart.
Okay, sure.
His organization created it, and it's so good, Matt, because what it is just a guided prayer. But you can start with a minute, and it's like, God, I give everyone and everything to you, and you just sit into that, and that's God, heal my relationship with you, create for communion with you, and just having those moments where, because I think that's what you're saying, right? It's like it's in that moment, it's that stopping of feeling like I'm in control. I can be extremely productive. I can make myself feel valuable by being, I'm going to get 5 more things done in this 10 minutes,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think, man, that's I think even just a beautiful segue into the third stroke that is, it's moment, it's spot, and then it's presence.
Yeah.
And so even though we call it Eden, the place of delight, it's not place first geographically, but it is wherever we are at the right time, at the right place, with the right person.
Yeah.
Okay. And before we can truly be present with anybody else, what we do, we have to figure out how to be present with God.
Yeah.
And distraction, we've already talked about. Distraction is one of 2 great thieves that steal value. It steals our attention. And I think, where for me, if my pride is what keeps me in a different place, it's distraction that keeps me from being present.
Yeah.
And, I just think about like times when I'm with my wife, but really like I'm actually in a different place or in a different time. And therefore then like I'm with her physically, but I'm not actually with her.
Yeah.
Or with my kids. Like how many times do we as men miss out on Eden, which is to be right here, right now, looking our kids in the eye? Like how many times do we miss Eden that's right in front of us because we're not present, because we miss one of these 3 things. We're not at the right time. We're thinking about what's next. We're thinking about what happened.
Yeah.
And again, like it can be for very noble purposes.
Oh, yeah.
But we're just not there.
Yeah.
Because we're not in the right time. We're not in the right place. And then we're not present first with the Lord. And how do you think we go about making sure no matter what we do? Because this is one of the things that is a deep conviction of mine. I know you share it. Is I don't want to live a compartmentalized life.
Right.
Okay. That is, okay, God, this is your space. It's an hour and 15 minutes on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's 30 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-minute prayer over each meal. And that's where I'll be present.
Yeah.
Present with you. How do we get out of that compartmentalized life? Or what's your journey been with that?
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, it goes back to those elements of like being willing to let there be silence, let there be stillness. And that's pausing. And then it turns into a question of like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to know about this situation? And I think, you talk about asking questions a lot. And I think for most of my Christian life, my prayer life was, God, will you help me with this conversation? God, will you help me not be late? God, will you help this food taste good?
Focus on circumstances.
Yeah, all that, as opposed to saying, Father, what do you want me to know about this?
Yes.
What do you want me to be present to?
Yes.
So asking those questions, I don't, does that,
I definitely think, and I think what you're saying when you're talking about being in the car, it's like, you focused on production versus presence. Or even we're talking about with our kids, like, or with our wives, like maybe focused on production at that moment rather than presence, or on, or just pulled away in our attention by distraction. But I also even think, even with my kids, okay, even if I'm present with them, if I'm not first present with the Lord, I probably don't see the best in them.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because I'll see circumstantially what they're doing, and then if they're misbehaving, like then I'm going to be stuck just dealing with misbehavior.
Right.
Versus if I'm present with the Lord, I think it helps me to see people for who they can be.
Yeah.
And I really think that changes things, even in a business context, man. If we can be in the spot where we're present with the Lord, I think we will always be able to see the best in people around us, even if they're giving their worst at the moment.
Yeah.
We see constant potential.
Yeah.
Because when God looks at us, he sees that.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
He sees constant potential.
Yeah.
And I do think that's something that Christ, it's like he covered over us, or he gave us garments that cover over our nakedness or our lack of potential.
Yeah.
To be seen fully as a son or a daughter of God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about like some more practice with it. Like why does it matter that we live our life in God's presence, not just to where we feel better, but I think we see better.
Yeah.
I think we see other people better.
I think you're
that's
exactly
true?
right. 100%. Yeah. And I think the other side of it is just reframing or removing the lens that it's up to us. We have to make it happen. We have to do, as opposed to being like, okay, we have a Father that wants abundance for us, wants good for us, right? And so when we move from this ownership mindset to everything we have to a stewardship mindset, and I know we'll get into that more when we talk about the trees, right?
Yeah.
That also allows us to take a step back and say, okay, I don't own this.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for it, you
Yes.
know, or maybe that's not even the right term, you know, but I'm not responsible for creating the fruit or the good things that happen here.
Yeah. I'm here to bear fruit, not produce it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. So if we're back at the portal,
Yeah.
okay, the fourth stroke of Eden is open door. And so it's spot or moment, spot, presence. Which, if you know, sometimes men love equations, and I'm probably one of those that, like, you know, I've been engineering mine.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I'm like, okay, so this plus this equals, you know, like,
yeah.
And I think if we get these things right, okay, and it probably isn't a plus, it's probably a moment times spot times presence. And if you get a 0 on any of those, it all zeros out. Okay?
Yeah.
Then that equals, or the door opens for a result. Okay. Otherwise, the door closes. And so what we know from Genesis is that mankind was locked out of the garden. God kicked them out and closed the door. And definitely what I believe that Jesus did was reopen the door to Eden. But it's a conditional opening that is the same conditions with which God made it.
Yeah.
And he's like, the door's open, but only if you get these three things right.
Yeah.
If you be when I am, which is now, where I am, which is here, and with me, then no matter who you're with, alone or with somebody else, the portal opens.
Yeah.
And it's like in the middle of chaos.
Yeah.
In the middle of your family, in the middle of your marriage, in the middle of your marketplace, like no matter if you're at business or at the ball field,
Yeah.
it's like the portal just goes,
Yeah.
and you can step into Eden, and you step there with whoever you're with, and the door opens. I don't know if that helps anybody else, but in my mind, like it is a helpful thing to be like, God, are you here? And if so, how do I access you?
Yeah.
And it's like, I just got to get the portal open.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's so hopeful.
Yeah.
Because it takes all the pressure off of us and trying to create and do what you're saying earlier of like, I need to fix this. I need to figure out how to be two places at once. Because the illusion I think that we have as guys is like, if we can do a little bit more, if we can fix this, if we can provide this solution, then we get that peace.
Yes.
Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, right?
No, for sure. Or on the other side of it, if I can just get to the vacation, you know, because Miramar Beach is my Eden, or, you know, like the mountains is my Eden.
Yeah.
And why? Well, because maybe that's the only time that we slow down enough to be present in the now, to be present with the Lord's presence, and to not be in the place where we're trying to be at another spot. We're just like, man, I'm in my spot. I'm in the mountains.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And so then we just visit Eden on vacations when God wanted us to live there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this practically.
Yeah.
Is I think we can have that experience at any moment that's called now, at any place that's called here, and with any people, as long as He's there.
Yeah.
And that means we can be alone or with anybody.
Yeah.
And we can be, and so that means you could be in a jail cell.
Yeah.
and the portal will open.
Yeah.
You can be at Miramar Beach and the portal will open. You
Yeah.
can be anywhere and the portal opens. That's the promise of Eden.
Yeah.
And it opens to a thing that's called delight.
Hmm.
Okay. And so that's the fifth stroke of Eden. Moment, spot, presence, open door, delight. And what delight means is probably joy, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
But it's joy that has, I think, all of the elements of human need. Okay.
Okay.
And so every human, I think, has the same core, let's call it 8 felt needs. And you could probably say it's 7 or it's 10 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's the same idea. So what do you think what would you say the core felt needs of most men are?
Oh, I mean, probably to feel like you matter, like what you're doing is purposeful.
So purpose,
meaning.
absolutely. That's a core felt need of humanity.
Yeah.
And I think especially men. I think men have a higher elevated desire for purpose.
Yeah.
Especially in the production level.
Yes.
Okay? In the external production, women probably have that same strength of desire. It's probably more, they find purpose more in reproduction internally, and I think that ties back to a primary vocation for masculine versus feminine. But purpose, absolutely. Like people want to feel like their life counts for something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Was
that present in the garden?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else? What do you think is like core felt needs?
To be known.
Okay. Yeah. So which probably we call intimacy, right?
Yeah.
Like, or community. That we have this desire of like connection, to know and be known. Was that present in the garden?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about pleasure? Desire for pleasure?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%, yeah.
Like, and this is one of the things I think some people maybe get caught up in, is because there's so many unholy fulfillments that result in pleasure in short term.
Yeah. Then
I think sometimes as Christians, especially if you're raised in a legalistic Christianity, it's like you start to get the idea that like pleasure's bad.
Yeah.
Because like I mean there was that lady in my church growing up, once I got into church, that was like, if you were a kid and you were having fun, it's like that doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
All right, that's like not the place for this, you know?
Yeah.
And so it develops this image of God that's like God's not about pleasure.
100%, yeah.
But everything that is pleasurable on this earth, it's only pleasurable because God made it that.
Yeah.
And that was certainly true in the garden.
Isn't that amazing?
Pleasure to the smell.
Yeah.
God made things smell good.
Yeah.
Pleasure to taste. Like God didn't have to make food taste good.
Yeah.
Thankfully he did.
Thankfully.
Right?
Yes.
God didn't have to make things beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, but he did.
Yeah.
And aesthetic matters to me.
Yeah.
It really does. Like it matters a lot.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm going to eat at a restaurant, like do I care about how the food tastes? I do.
Yeah.
But I care about how it looks first. And I know some people are not that.
I'm with
you.
But
like I'm there, you know,
yeah.
like, I mean, like even, it just matters to me.
Yeah.
And so all of that, even in intimacy, God didn't have to make sex feel good.
Yeah.
But he did.
Yeah.
Like that was God.
Yeah.
And I know we treat sex as like, oh, like that's like, shouldn't be thought about, but like God put that in the garden to declare who he is. He was like, I want intimacy, love, covenant, and reproduction to be the greatest feeling.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be so pleasurable for you.
Yeah.
And so all of that, the pursuit of pleasure, the need or the desire for pleasure is not an ungodly desire. It's just how we fulfill that that becomes godly or ungodly. So pleasure, intimacy, purpose, I think power, production,
authority,
reproduction, authority, all of those things that are the felt needs of humanity. The sense of protection, did I say that one?
Yeah.
We all have this like felt need. I want to be protected, and or I want to be a protector. All of that stuff, that was all garden stuff. And so when we enter into this place, delight is the place where you experience every one of your felt needs. and God opens up the door for you to either protect or be protected, to be provided for, to be in the spot where you have pleasure, or you're able to pass on pleasure to somebody else, and we get to be the purveyors of Eden experience and to like pass it on, and that portal is available to us if we can just get in the right place at the right time with the right person, and then the door opens, and then we're in delight. And what a privilege to live your life in Eden. But if you don't know how to get the door open, you'll never make it in.
Yeah.
Even though Jesus unlocked it for us, you'll never make it in.
That's beautiful. I really like the connection that you made. I've not ever made this before, but Ash and I have talked about this. There's so many times, and it's funny, and probably because you used Miramar Beach as the example, but both of us would say that we've heard God speak into our lives more sitting on that little stretch of, white sandy beach than anywhere else in this world. And I've struggled with that at times because it's like, well, how do I, I want that here in Arkansas.
Or we need to move there. But then, if you move there, like it would ruin it probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it would, but we should try.
Could always try, just make sure. Yeah.
But I mean, that's such a beautiful thing because that's a taste of Eden. But what you're sharing in this right here is like, hey, that's available to us right here today at the ball fields tonight or wherever, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess to close, I'll just say our prayer would be for us and for everybody that's listening to hear the hope that is God paid the price through his son to open up the door to Eden.
Yeah.
And to make that portal available to us. We just have to figure out how to get to the right time, the right place with the right person, and to swing that door open so we can live every moment there. And so I bless you in Jesus' name to experience the life of reproduction and abundance that's found in Eden.
Yeah.
And God, that we won't waste our lives wandering around outside of the garden where death and destruction reign, but instead that we would get back to the place where you always meant us to be, and that you paid the price of admittance to get us back into there through sending your son. And so God, help us to figure out how as men to live this out in everyday life so that we never live another moment outside of Eden. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, so next time we'll talk a little bit more about kind of God building out Eden to the crowning point, which is of his creation, which is humanity.
Yeah.
And it'll be amazing. In the middle of that is the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So
can't wait.
Carry on there.
Come on, come back and join us.